Music for All is proud to sponsor Bandstand. At Music for All, we're about providing positively life-changing experiences. Join us with your marching band at Bands of America or with your concert ensemble at the Music for All National Festival. Students can audition for our honor ensembles or attend camp at the Music for All Summer Symposium, featuring the Sweetwater Director Academy, an amazing week of professional development for directors led by Dr. Nola Jones. Learn more at musicforall.org.
Romeo Music is the leader in audio, video, music, and lighting technology for educators. With a combined nearly 200 years of experience, Romeo Music's subject matter experts understand the struggles that face teachers in today's music classrooms. With a laser focus on educational technology, Romeo Music provides a turnkey solution, everything from audio cables to on-site training. To learn more, visit www.romeomusic.net.
Hello, and welcome to Bandstand, the official podcast of the Tennessee Bandmasters Association. I'm your host, David Adelit, and I hope you'll join us on a journey through the past, present, and future of bands in Tennessee. We'll delve into the rich history of Tennessee bands, uncovering the hidden gems and legendary figures who shaped the state's band landscape. We'll survey the present, where you'll meet the movers and shakers of today, gaining insights from their expertise and experiences. And we'll gaze towards the future, exploring the exciting possibilities that await Tennessee's school bands. Hello, Bandstand listeners. David Adelit here. This is our last episode of Season 1, and on behalf of all our co-hosts, I'd like to take a second and thank you for your support. A year ago, this project wasn't even on my mind, and now it occupies a significant portion of my life. I've enjoyed getting to know you, learning about you, and finding ways to deliver content that is interesting, helpful, and most of all, helps us create connections here in Tennessee. Again, thank you for all your help and support. One of the things that you can expect for next year is that many of our episodes will be organized into a series sort of approach. As an example, last week's episode with Leif Cook will evolve into a one-on-one interview series called Everyone Has a Story to Tell, where we sit and talk with one person to hear about their lives, and not just about their band. I'm excited about hearing stories from folks all across our state, stories that will help us learn that we have more in common than not, regardless of where we teach. One aspect of Bandstand that we're leaning into is Mic Check Monday, our little 2-ish minute message where we give shout-outs and provide a little something to get you started with your week. Mic Check also gives us a chance to hear from more of you. And I want to thank Carroll Gotcher from Jackson County and Randall Coleman from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga for sharing their thoughts with us this year. If you have a message that you believe would resonate, please let me know by emailing tbabandstandpodcast@gmail.com. The remainder of this episode will be interviews with 4 folks who are doing great work in our state. The first is with Stacy Jernigan, MTSBOA president. Yesterday was Wednesday the 29th, Stacy and I spent the day with the directors from the Twin Lakes Small Band Directors Association at their yearly summer workshop at Pleasant Hill School near Crossville. Wow, they had some great sessions that would benefit any director. I speak with Dr. Jerry Buttrum and Carroll Gotcher about how Twin Lakes supports the directors and students on the Cumberland Plateau. And we close with our TBA president, J.R. Baker. J.R. takes some time to talk about the TBA Summer Symposium that comes up in June, and some things that TBA is working on for the future. So again, thanks for all your support and input. I plan on dropping an episode in July that previews Season 2, so be on the lookout for that. And hey, if you'd like to partner with us, as Romeo Music and Music for All have, please let us know at tbabandstandpodcast@gmail.com. Have a great summer. Thanks again. Okay, so we're here at the Twin Lakes Band Directors Association Summer Workshop, and I've got Stacy Jernigan here with me right now. Stacy's the president of MTSBOA, and she and I rode up this morning to check out this incredible session that's happening up here that's organized by these band directors up in the sort of north of Cookeville, Crossville area. So, hey, Stacy, how are you?
I'm doing great, David. How are you?
Good. What have been your thoughts on the day today?
It's been a really enlightening experience for me to know that this was going on. I didn't know that they did this event every year, and so it's been really cool to see they've got 3 full days of good sessions going on, and really enjoyed the couple that we've already heard this morning. Got to hear a session from Dr. Kramer on clarinet, and even learned a few things as clarinet player.
Was a great session.
Yeah, definitely. And then just a really good lunch session about teacher anxiety, which we all experience on some level, and kind of share how people deal with that and how we can avoid some of it.
Yeah.
Definitely something we all need to hear.
Absolutely. So you just finished your first year as MTSBOA president. What was that like, and what did you learn, and what do you have planned for year 2?
Quite honestly, it was a whirlwind. It went by really fast. I will say it's probably one of the most exhausting years of teaching, but at the same time, really, really rewarding. Getting to know a lot more people in the association and getting a little bit more in-depth knowledge of some of the behind-the-scene things that people just aren't ever aware of till they're in the middle of it. I think it was a good year. I definitely learned some things that I want to focus on in year 2. At least getting them set up. Rome was never built in a day.
Yeah.
So there are things that I think we do really well as an association, but some things that I think we can do better. So it's kind of my goal in year 2 to get some of those on the right track and see if we can just, continue to improve the association. I think we always want to improve things and make it better. So I'm always looking for ways that we can do that.
Are you willing to talk about what some of those things are?
Sure.
What your specifics are?
Sure. One of them is why I'm here today. I really think that there's some pockets of music educators in our region and most importantly, music students in our region that aren't really being served as well as they could be. And it's for a variety of circumstances. Maybe it's more urban programs that we're not reaching. And in this case, more rural programs that just either are not members at all or are members but are not participating in a lot of the things that we do have. And
right.
I think there are ways that we could maybe be more inclusive of those programs and those people to meet their needs in a better way.
I mean, a lot of it's understandable. This proximity is a big thing. I mean,
sure.
We drove 2 hours this morning to get here from Nashville, and there's a distance element to it. There's a money element to it. But, yeah, I mean, I think having the conversation like we're having today and you and I being here hopefully goes a long way towards giving folks that teach out here in this area and other places across the state a voice and give them a sense of, feeling encouraged by the associations. And I think you being here today is awesome, and I'm glad that we're able to make this trip today.
Yeah, I appreciate. I'm glad that we kind of happened upon that conversation that led me to come with you today, because I'm really enjoying the experience and don't know that I would have been here otherwise. So thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
for making me aware.
Your background is you went to Columbia High School,
which
is kind of rural and kind of it's a short drive up to Nashville, but it's kind of rural, I'd say. If
you have a parade where you honor mules, you can probably consider that it's rural.
That's perfect. But then you also taught in Lincoln County for 5 years?
Yeah, that was where I got my start.
Yeah.
At Lincoln County High School. When I say Lincoln County, a lot of people don't even know where that is. That's about 10. The high school where I taught is literally like 10 minutes from the state line. I could drive 10 minutes and be in Alabama.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we were talking on the way here, I felt like I was on an island a little bit, not much connection to the outside world in terms of music education anyway. And so I think it's important that wherever a person is teaching, that they have a network that they can belong to so they don't feel isolated, because teaching's hard today. It's always been hard, but it's really hard today. And so, you don't have to feel like you're doing it all by yourself. But the further you are away from big centers of population, if you will, I think that's more challenging for sure.
No doubt. Yeah, I'm glad we're doing this today, and hopefully it goes a long way towards, making our association stronger and helping our students and directors as well. So, hey, thanks for being up here today. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay, we're here with Dr. Jerry Buttrum, who is the organizer of this Twin Lakes what's it called? Twin Lakes Summer Workshop? Band directors?
It
Help
has
me out.
many names, but the easiest one to remember is Twin Lakes Summer Music Workshop. We're considered the Twin Lakes Small Band Directors Association. So the reason why it was called that is because the Twin Lakes phone book, and that's where it came from many years ago. And Carroll Gotcher was telling us that story when that idea surfaced. They said, well, why do we call ourselves? Well, we're all in the phone book back in the day. So that's where that came from.
Now, so you handle the workshop part. Carroll handles the honor band. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
And we also have a marching band exhibition that happens at Baxter or with Upperman High School. John Oliver's not with us today, but he is one that kind of hosts that as well. We're looking at incorporating a jazz band, honor band for next year, too.
That's awesome. Okay, great. So just talk about how this got started and what your role is in it, and talk about you a little bit too, Jerry.
Absolutely.
I want to hear your story.
Well, I grew up in Sparta, Tennessee, which from this school site is about 25 minutes to the west. I currently teach at Pleasant Hill School, which is in Cumberland County, Tennessee. And
that's where we are today,
yes,
by the way.
that is where the workshop is hosted at today. Yes, thank you. And what we did this is year 23 I just finished. 9 years ago, Carroll Gotcher, who teaches at Jackson County, Tennessee, and all of us were talking one day and said, we're all kind of tired of going to math workshops and law seminars. And so we said, none of this really is pertaining to what we can bring back to our classroom. And he said, why don't we just do our own workshop? I said, okay, I'll round up some things and we'll see who we can do. And so the concept of this workshop is very laid back on purpose. 9 years ago, we said that was going to be our goal. We want as many of us in the cohort in this area or whoever would be coming to also have the ability to present any concepts that they wanted to see that worked for them or that they wanted to research to bring to the group and say, what can we do to improve, or this is what worked for me. And then we've also, throughout the 9 years, have brought in other people that have been willing to give their time. So we've had everyone from Randall Stambridge. We've had other folks from all over the country who has zoomed in, and it's been great that we could do that too. The whole concept of this, though, that we said from the get-go is this has to be a free workshop.
Yeah.
It is completely free because we are rural schools. We have no money in our budget to go to $600 workshops every summer.
Yep.
And this was something we've done every year, and everyone has been very gracious to give their time for each session for free.
It's kind of like a one-room school for band directors because you have experienced folks like you and Carol, but then you have also the young teachers that get a chance to learn from you, but then they get to present too. So it's also a chance for them to demonstrate growth as teachers and professionals because they have to put together a presentation, stand up and deliver it in front of experienced folks like you. So it's kind of this own little learning community that you guys have created up here.
Yes, and on top of that, with this workshop that we do, we also do a band director book club, and it has been beneficial, I think, for many of us. It's almost, we found our village, those that attend, and it's more of a therapy session than it is about the book.
I love a good book club. Can you talk about some of the books that you've studied through this?
Yeah, well, we've done it now for about 3 years. Atomic Habits is one, Making Moments was another. We've done Dopamine Nation. Another book that we've looked at was Mindsets. So anything that's a heavy hitter, Grit was another one that we did. And so all of these have information that we can bring back to our classrooms. We're going to look at Visual Thinking by Temple Grandin. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a part of our workshop tomorrow. So we incorporate that as part of the workshop to try to introduce to others who would like to be a part of the workshop.
Sorry, buddy. We have a cello drone going on. It's all good.
Part of the learning.
Part of the learning.
That's right.
If people wanted to start this, like you guys have got this going on up here in this sort of northern Middle Tennessee, northeastern Middle Tennessee, but if someone across the state hears this podcast and thinks, you know what, we should start this in my area, what would you say are the first 2 or 3 steps? Because what you have now is developed after years, but if you just want to get started, what are the 2 or 3 things you got to do to get started?
Find a cohort that wants to work together and wants to learn together. and you're building the village. That's the first thing you need to have. You have to have that village first. If you don't have the village, then it's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to buy in and wants to learn. And that's what this group that's come back year after year, this cohort, has all decided we want to learn. So once you do that, then just establish a place where you can attend. And usually my administration that I've been at has been very gracious in allowing a site. The county, once I told Cumberland County Schools, I said, yeah, I host this workshop the first year that I came, and they said, oh, can we piggyback on it and add PD to it? So it's just starting to ask throughout the channels of all that. Infrastructure-wise, we're kind of low-tech when it comes to it. If you've got a sound system that you can hook up to your computer for Zoom, have a couple of microphones, those kind of infrastructures that you need to have, and you got to have a coffee pot.
You got to have a coffee pot. One question, I know we've got to go to our next session, but you had Randall Standridge on, you've had other folks too. I would guess that most band directors think that those folks that are on that level are hard to get. Is that your experience?
You just have to sleuth through the interwebs and find an email and just ask. I mean, the worst thing they can say is no. Yeah. And then you move on to the next person. I've had it where they said, I can't do it this summer, but hey, can you ask me again for next year? And then they would come back and do it. Usually when I've asked, they will come in and say, yeah, I'd be happy to come and give an hour on Zoom.
I love it. Hey, great work up here, Jerry.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Jerry. That's incredible.
Well, thank you, sir.
You're doing great stuff, and just speaking for, the Bandstand podcast and whatnot, we're really excited about what you got going on. Thank you.
We appreciate you being here today. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Carroll Gotcher, you are a celebrated teacher up here in this area. You went to Tech, and then I think you went to UT as well.
I did indeed.
You've been a deliverer of information on our Mic Check Monday, which have been wonderful, and thank you. We're here together at Twin Lakes, the Professional Development Summer Workshop, and you and Jerry have done a great job with putting all this together and creating this community. I think Jerry handles this portion of what you do, and you handle the honor band?
That's correct.
Okay, so just talk about this whole thing, because I think it's wonderful.
Well, my second year in Jackson County, which was 30 years ago, we noticed that our kids didn't participate in Mid-State very much, and they didn't participate in honor bands. So we created a little honor band that's not auditioned. Everybody who wants to go gets to go, and we seat them according to age. So seniors are first chair and freshmen aren't. And from that grew a little community of band directors that sent kids to that. And then from that grew our little PD session in the summers, which is, I think this is the 9th year we've done this. 3 days, 8-hour days, so we get 24 hours.
What I love about it is the fact that there was a need for something, and you all got together and created that. And I'm discovering that that's happening in more places than just this. Darrell Boston's got something down in Lawrence County. For directors that may feel alone or feel like they're not being served by the associations just because there's only so much they can do, what are the steps they can take to create this? If you had to give advice to someone on starting an event like this, what are the 2 or 3 things that are important in starting?
Well, start small, but do start. Find a couple other people who think the way you do, and just pick a day and get together, and then organically out of that, other ideas will grow and the participation will grow. I think we have 15 band directors involved this year, which is more than we've ever had. We have a Zoom element as well, so people that aren't even in the room can participate. Just find a group and make it happen.
And that helps with the young teachers too, because I'm sure they help in the production of the events. And so you're giving them responsibilities for, you're in charge of setup or you're in charge of percussion. And so they have some professional acumen that goes along with this that help them grow as people, but also help the association operate in a way that's cost effective and spreads out the work.
Yes, and it also gives them a chance for leadership, which looks good with their administration back home, and gives them an opportunity to see how things work at a different level than just at their school.
You're a seasoned teacher. What are the things that you are most often saying to young band directors in the area when you mentor them?
Step back and listen. They get so in the weeds looking at the page and worrying about the little details that are right in front of them at the moment that often they don't hear the bigger issues with their groups. They get so bogged down in the details of day to day that they maybe don't see the big picture of what they want their program to be and the steps they can take to get there.
That's great. Thanks, Carroll. You're a gem.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, J.R. Baker, our TBA president and MTSBOA past president and TMEA president-elect. We're here tonight to talk a little bit about the beginning of the summer. Glad everybody made it through the school year. And we're excited about summer and then the upcoming school year as well. So, JR, the TBA Summer Symposium takes place every year during June. Take it away. Let's hear your thoughts on this, what you've got planned.
Well, first, that list of job titles is pretty repudiant. I don't know if I need that listed a lot of times because that's something. But yeah, TBA Summer Symposium, ASBDA Young Director Symposium coming up here in a couple of weeks, June 14th and 15th in the Franklin Special School District. We've been doing these events for several years. Obviously, COVID put a dent in that, and coming out of COVID last year, we really tried to decide what would be most beneficial for folks in doing this. It used to be, I don't know if you remember, Dave, it used to be super early, like the first Thursday and Friday of June.
Yep.
And we decided that it was really made a lot more sense to give people a chance to clean out the band room, to go home, sit on the couch a little bit, go to the beach, read a book, not music related, and kind of flush all of the prior school year out and then start to gear up for the next school year. So we pushed it back last summer to kind of mid-June, and that seemed to be a really a great shot in the arm for that event. So kind of kept that schedule this year and excited about our lineup for that Friday, having Mike and Greta Pote from Carmel High School and Carmel's feeder come down and present some items. I think by the time this podcast comes out, the schedule for that day should be updated with what their exact session titles are going to be and what they're going to be speaking about. So be looking for that on the Canva document that's been sent out and on the TBA website. David, I know that you have worked with the Potes a little bit, and know at least Michael Pote from some of your BOA time. What would you expect that we're going to get out of these sessions?
I think what would be most excited about is anytime we get somebody like the Potes, I think that it raises our expectations for what we can do. They're both excellent, incredible teachers and bring with them a high standard for what they do as professionals. And anytime we get to interact with folks that are like that have those standards for us as professionals, then it makes us better. Mike is extremely knowledgeable. I've never met Greta. Mike is extremely knowledgeable. He's a composer and an arranger as well. And obviously his work with Yamaha and the Harmony Director is something that's been very beneficial for a lot of band directors, and of course his band as well. So I think we're really in for a treat to have the information that both of them are going to bring, and then just them as standard bearers in our profession.
I know that when I was talking to both of them about what kind of sessions that we would like them to see, that's Harmony Director stuff was certainly one of the things that I encouraged them to spend some time on and to talk about. Greta's at Clay Middle School. I couldn't think of the name of that school off the top of my head a second ago, but at Clay that feeds Carmel. But yeah, we start at 9:00 that day. We're going to be that first day is going to be at Poplar Grove Middle School in Franklin. We start at 9:00. Amro is providing lunch, and so we're going to. The kind of plan going in is for Mike and Greta to kind of present together in the morning, and then in the afternoon after lunch break out into some kind of grade level focus sessions. more high school, middle school focused. Then we'll conclude those sessions at 3, and change the schedule a little bit this year from last year. At 3:30 that day, we're going to have the TBA summer meeting. So encourage folks to stick around for that and discuss some of the upcoming things for this next school year. But yeah, we're just really looking forward to that day. And like you said, bringing people in who just make us better directors, I think is always the goal and what we want to hope for. Super appreciative of Music for All for helping sponsor them coming in. So Ben Zelkauer was really gracious in his work and in setting up them coming down and spending the time with us. So just yeah, it's going to be a great day. It was a great day last year, and looking forward to people coming in and benefiting from it again this year. I'd also encourage people to come back that Saturday to Freedom Middle School, just right next door to Poplar Grove, for the ASBDA Young Director Symposium. One of our sister organizations, I guess you would say, here in the state. They always do a great job of bringing in some of their members in the state to present sessions. And they call it a Young Director Symposium, but I think that title is misleading. I think that was the intent going in, but certainly the material and the information that's going to be discussed that day is going to be beneficial for everybody. So those sessions that day include Vanessa Cobb from Montgomery Central talking about starting on the right note, so best practices for beginning band. And then Kevin Jankowski from Grassland Middle School is going to talk about middle school percussion success, especially in a classroom where you have multiple instruments, where they're not separated out. And then Evan Burton is going to talk about teaching students to play in tune, step by step, and really going through a process for how to do that. If you've heard Evan's band at Page, they're really phenomenal. So I know there'll be a lot of great nuggets of information taken from those 3 sessions.
Yeah, that's a great 2 days. Absolutely.
I think Bandwagon Music and Repair is providing lunch on Saturday, so a lot of fun things. I would also say on Friday night after the TBA symposium and the TBA meeting, Carroll Grooms, one of our past MTSBOA presidents, kind of one of the fixtures at least in Middle Tennessee, has always graciously opened up her house for a cookout, and that's going to be an option again this year. And in all the years that we've had this event, I had never been to that cookout until last year, and was just a super fun time, just hanging out on the back patio, enjoying some hamburgers and hot dogs, and talking to other band directors, young band directors, old band directors, just all kinds of folks hanging out. And so much of what we do is a social network,
and we need that,
so to speak. And it's just it's so important. David and I were talking earlier about one of our positions in Robertson County that we were just filled, and how that the person that we hired for that had connections from 30 years ago with people that are still in this state, even though he had moved off. And that's just, band directing is such a small world sometimes.
Yep. Are you in a position to talk about what the agenda might be, or some of the agenda items for the meeting, the TBA meeting?
I know that one of the things that I'd like to talk about, I haven't really delved into that a little bit. We're going to revisit a little bit, though, on State Concert Band Festival. And
great,
we talked a lot about that at the spring meeting, and continue to look at that, what that might look like. I think that's going to be a large topic. We talked a little bit about at the spring meeting about kind of creating some type of representative system. And so we're going to continue to flesh that out some more, and maybe start to put some of those folks in place. And then also kind of our music list, state music list. Great. I think will probably be the 3 big topics of that day. It's a little bit more informal meeting that day. It's really a work meeting, I would say, as we kind of delve into some of these big things that we want to solve.
So you finished year 1 as TBA president. what's year 2 going to be for you? I mean, I know the agenda items are part of that, but in your sense of what you think about shaping TBA, what's in your head about TBA's future?
One of the things that I have felt about TBA, especially undertaking the, I guess, the leadership role in that, is that it's a very amorphous association. We have 2 meetings, and honestly, the second meeting, the summer meeting, hasn't been really well attended. There was a couple years where we didn't have it because of COVID, and then as we're coming back, trying to figure out how to make the summer symposium work, those meetings just haven't been a lot of people there. So it's been really hard to actually, I think, forward an agenda with TBA.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a large part of why I think putting some type of representative system back into place, where we can at least get together every other month and say, hey, what can we do? What should we be doing? I think there are opportunities that we're missing through TBA that we could take advantage of, whether that's, hey, instead of having if we have a meeting in August, in September, let's have Joel Denton come on and just do an open forum TBA meeting where he talks about leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and something where we can just expand out a little bit, where we can offer more to our directors than just a couple meetings and some recitals and some plaques and some certificates for their students.
Yeah.
So I think being more of a benefit to our directors. I think this podcast has certainly been one of the ways that we've done that, and so I'm super appreciative of you for starting this and
Thank you.
for kind of leading this initiative. But I think it's putting some more. I think it's just putting some more meat on the table for folks.
Yeah. I think
instead of something that's just on their resume that, hey, I'm a member of TBA, I pay my $25. But as we talk about with a lot of our other organizations, sometimes like what are we getting out? What are we getting back from that $25?
Yeah.
And so I think ways that we can just continue to benefit and grow band directors is going to be important.
I think maybe Joel talked about this at some point. I'm not sure if this is in a meeting or just personal conversation, but all of our different groups and associations, they all sort of splash together in places. And I just wonder if that can be organized a little bit, if that can be a little bit more thought out as far as how all these groups work together. What's the difference between TMEA, the band caucus at TMEA, TBA, and then all the different things that we're discovering are happening, like the Tri-Lakes group that's down in southern Middle Tennessee, the TSS BDA group that exists. I think it's over in East Tennessee. And then, Stacy Jernigan and I just got back today from Twin Lakes, which is up north of Cookeville. We have all these different pieces and parts, and which is great. How do they all work together? Should they all work together? I think it's at least an interesting conversation topic, it seems to me, for how these groups all work together.
Right, and what all those groups are. I mean, I think there's the Gateway group up in Northwest Tennessee,
Yep.
or Clarksville area that does some of the same type of things. And I think one of the things with TBA that we've kind of started doing, and I think one of the things I hope, I don't know that I'm the one to carry that on, but at least to continue to stoke that fire is, I think with the marching band sheets, that's kind of, I think nobody's going to tell you that J.R. Baker is Mr. Marching Band, but I think the fact that we have at least some kind of uniformity there is good. Using the same sheets for concert festival that TBA kind of brings to the table is good. I'd like to see us do that with solo and ensemble. I think actually there are some folks that think that we do, and I don't think that's actually the case. So getting a solo and ensemble sheet that we're all using kind of the same way, and even we've provided a marching band handbook for people using those sheets.
Yeah, the adjudication handbook.
Provide a concert band, an adjudication handbook for concert band, for solo and ensemble. And they don't have to be a 50-page document that you read before you judge, but just something that each organization in the state's on the same page about what consistent adjudication looks like at concert performance assessment and in solo and ensemble. So, and they're lofty goals, and that's one of the things that I think is difficult with the lack of structure in the organization. And I say the lack of structure, I think the structure is organized as the people in charge of it are. So that's, I'm take a personal dig at myself there.
No, I mean, don't do that. It's not an organization. You said it a minute ago. It meets twice a year. It's hard to have an infrastructure with a group that meets twice a year, and there's all these other meetings for other associations as well. So just the fact that you're thinking about how to structure this, I think, is going to move us forward. I mean, because we are the only organization in the state that really serves band directors only. And so there's an advantage there that we have, maybe opportunity is the better word, to do some good for directors across the state, and specifically so that they can help their kids and they can help their students and help band programs grow and grow in both numbers and in quality as well.
And I think it's doable, and I think it's I said lofty a second ago, but I don't think it's too lofty. I think there's certainly things that we can do that can encourage those things.
Yep. Awesome.
I think that representative system is going to be a big part of that, and we'll add some of that structure, I hope so.
Great.
That's one of the things that, like I said, at that meeting we're going to talk more about and start to try to lock in a little bit.
Awesome. June 14th, Poplar Grove School in Franklin, 9 a.m. Is there
9 a.m.?
It's in the band room. Will there be signage, JR?
I am sure that there will be signage.
Okay. I love good signage. It
might be me making signs that day when we get there, but yeah, we'll have some signs out.
We'll just put you outside with a poster board with an arrow on it or something.
It's so funny. It's one of those summers where it's everything. It seems like it's a long summer, and then everything kind of piles up. We just got back from I got back from a little trip up to Sevierville. Left the rest of the family there. I came back to babysit a dance recital at one of the high schools just to kind of be the person on site. So I was doing that, and I've got to go to all my teacher friends. I think will appreciate this, that I've got to go to court in a couple of weeks because I passed a school bus on a 5-lane highway. I flashed my central office badge. They did not appreciate that or think that it warranted not giving me a ticket. So I've got to do that, and then we got summer symposiums right after that. So it's just been already a crazy summer.
We'll have a follow up on that court appearance later on.
Yeah, I hope you might be sending donations to the TBA president for his insurance. I'm not worried about the ticket as much as the insurance.
Yeah, that's the concern. Well, thanks, JR. Great job.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Looking forward to seeing everybody on the 14th. Be checking your emails from either from TBA or from your regional associations, and from ASBDA with all of the sign-up links and RSVPs and stuff. And we do ask if you don't mind RSVPing, just so we know how much lunch to have Amaro and Bandwagon prepare.
Sounds great. All right. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
Thanks for listening to Bandstand. Bandstand's mission is to build a stronger, more unified band community in Tennessee by fostering meaningful conversations about the past, present, and future of school bands in our state. If you have topic suggestions or need to get in touch with us, email us at tbabandstandpodcast@gmail.com. Your input is important to us, and if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss about the past, present, or future of Tennessee bands, please let us know. Again, that email is tbabandstandpodcast@gmail.com. Right now we're broadcasting on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts, so please subscribe, review, and rate. Box 5, please. And if you find something interesting or helpful, please share this podcast with your friends. Bandstand is proud to be sponsored by Music for All and Romeo Music. See you next time.